Have you ever felt an eerie presence watching you? I recently encountered something truly unsettling in a supposedly haunted library, and I can't shake the feeling that something sinister lurks within those hallowed halls. My name's Ellie Harper, and I've always been drawn to the strange and unexplained, the kind of thing that makes your skin prickle and your heart skip. Growing up in Bangor, Maine, I'd heard all the stories, whispers of ghosts, cursed objects, and places where the veil between our world and something else feels paper thin. The old Haverford Library, a crumbling brick relic from the 1800s, was one of those places. Locals said it was haunted by a librarian named Agnes, who died in a fire in 1923, her screams supposedly still echoing in the stacks. Some swore they'd seen her shadow flit between shelves, or heard her footsteps pacing the upper floors. Me? I thought it was just small-town folklore, the kind of thing you tell kids to keep them out of trouble. That is, until last Tuesday. I was there to research an article on local history, digging through dusty records for anything juicy. The library was open late that night, a rare community event, and I figured I'd have the place mostly to myself. The Haverford's main room was a cavern of oak shelves, with a high, vaulted ceiling and stained glass windows that threw dim, colored light across the floor. The air smelled of old paper and mildew, and the silence was so thick you could hear your own heartbeat. The moment I stepped inside, something felt off. The air was too heavy, like I was wading through molasses. The librarian at the desk, a bored-looking woman with cat-eye glasses, barely glanced up as I signed in. I found a table near the back, surrounded by towering shelves that seemed to lean in, watching. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of a page, felt amplified, like the building was whispering to itself. I brushed it off. Old buildings make noises, right? But then I heard it, a faint, rhythmic tapping, like fingers drumming on wood, coming from the aisle behind me. I turned, expecting to see someone, but the aisle was empty, just a long stretch of shadows and books. The tapping stopped, but now I noticed the cold. Not just a draft, but a bone-deep chill that made my breath catch. The overhead lights flickered, just for a second, and I swear I saw something move in my peripheral vision. A dark shape, too quick to pin down. My notebook sat open, pen frozen in my hand. I told myself it was nothing, just my imagination running wild, but my gut screamed otherwise. I pushed deeper into the stacks, looking for the local history section. The shelves were a maze, and the farther I went, the darker it got, the lights dimming like they were on their last legs. That's when I heard the whisper. Not words, not exactly, but a low, rasping sound, like someone exhaling right behind me. I spun around. Nothing. My heart was pounding now, my palms sweaty despite the cold. I grabbed a random book just to have something solid in my hands, and that's when it happened. The book fell open, and the pages started turning on their own. Not flipping, like in a breeze, but turning, slow and deliberate, like someone was reading over my shoulder. The air grew thick with the smell of smoke, acrid and sharp, like a fire had just gone out. I dropped the book, and it hit the floor with a thud that echoed too loud. Then I saw her. She was at the end of the aisle, a woman in a high-necked dress, her face half hidden in shadow. Her eyes, God, her eyes, were empty, like black pits, but I felt them boring into me. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there. Her head tilted slightly, like she was sizing me up. The temperature plummeted, my breath coming out in white puffs. I wanted to scream, to run, but my legs felt rooted to the floor. The whisper came again, louder, and this time I caught a word. Stay. I don't know how I broke free. Maybe it was pure adrenaline, but I stumbled back, knocking over a cart of books. The crash snapped me out of it, and I bolted for the exit, my footsteps pounding against the floor. The librarian looked up as I ran past, her face blank, like she hadn't heard a thing. Outside, under the streetlights, I tried to piece it together. Maybe it was a trick of the light, or exhaustion from too many late nights. Maybe the library's atmosphere, those creaky floors, that musty smell, had gotten to me. But no explanation fit. The book's pages moved. That smell of smoke was real, sharp enough to sting my nose. And those eyes, I can still see them when I close mine. I went back the next day, during daylight, to see if I could recreate it. The library felt normal, almost mundane, but I found the book I'd dropped, still on the floor where I left it. Its pages were brittle, some charred at the edges, like it had been pulled from a fire. I asked the librarian if anyone else had reported anything strange. She just shrugged, said people always talk about Agnes, but it's just stories. I took a picture of the book, but when I checked my phone later, the photo was gone. No trace of it. I'm convinced it was her, Agnes, or whatever's left of her. The library's records confirm the fire in 1923 and her death. They don't mention how she was trapped in the stacks, how she screamed for help that never came. I think she's still there, bound to that place, and I think she wanted me to know it. I haven't been back to the Haverford since. I can't even drive by it without feeling that chill again, like her eyes are still on me. I used to scoff at ghost stories, but now, I'm not so sure. The world feels bigger, darker, like there's a crack in reality I never noticed before. I wake up some nights, certain I hear that whisper, stay, and I check the locks twice before I can sleep again. I'm sharing this because I need to know I'm not alone. Have you ever felt something you can't explain? Seen something that made you question what's real? Drop your story in the comments. I could use the company.